Support for 100 Watts and a Wire is brought to you by 100wattsandawire.com. To subscribe to the show, simply click the RSS feed. While you're there, apply for your free 100 Watts ID and learn how you can help make 100 Watts and a Wire listener supported. Click the donate page and pick the option that works best for you. We've got a traveling toolkit, 100 Watts and a Wire gear, and more. That's 100wattsandawire.com. And ICOM, calling all stations. Make sure you grab your ICOM gear for the most popular on-air event, Field Day, June 23rd and 24th. Let ICOM help you to make the most contacts or practice for emergency situations. And Bio-NO Power, offering the best performance lithium iron phosphate batteries for your ham radios. Visit bionopower.com. That's BIOENNOPOWER.com. Or contact dealers nationwide.
And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
All right, here we are on another Walk and Talk. It's Christian. How you doing? As my friends in Philadelphia would say. This is the week of Field Day. It is a favorite among many hams and many clubs. Lots of people get out and they set up big stuff on towers and they put their Yagis up there, lots of aluminum. Some people do smaller stuff. It's a very exciting time, and it's a great thing for camaraderie. Now, I've been to one field day with one club, and I'd like to go around and visit others. And maybe I'll start doing that. I don't know if I'll just start, showing up places, but as a member of the ham radio media, I could get an invite. I could go and see what's happening. It's fun to be around so many people who really love what you love, and you see them set up their antennas. I'm sure there's an aspect of politics in there as well. Who likes to do contesting? Who wants to make the most points? Or who just wants to eat some pizza? I think you get a little bit of everything, with Field Day. It's a lot of fun to get on the air and work a lot of different stations. And you know what I do? I go from 40 meters and I'll start down the low end and I'll work my way up and then I'll switch it over to 20 and do the same thing. And I just go back and forth and I'll work specifically states that I don't have. That's what I want. So I don't really care to, and I'm not doing it to work all states. That's not really my interest either in Field Day, but I'd rather work places that I haven't worked yet, make a game of it. And a couple of years ago, I started doing this with my daughter. And so I'll print out a map, and Daddy will start to work different states. Yeah, I don't even bother working different stations. I just want different states. So if I hear something I don't have, bang, I'm pouncing on it. And so I make it my own game. Field Day becomes my own game, and that's what I do. I like this walk and talk format. It's kind of quiet. But what will you be doing on Field Day? What is your role? What are you doing with your club? You're going to meet early. You're going to get up early. You're going to get that coffee. You're going to start that car, get in the mobile, start listening to 2 meters. Everybody's chatting it up, really excited, get back together. Remember the people we lost over the last year. It's great. Be safe. Whatever you do, be safe. That's important. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm going to miss this year's Field Day. I won't be doing it from home or in my own field. In fact, I'm going to be sitting in Roanoke, Virginia. I'm going to go and visit Roanoke, Virginia, and the fine people there, and hang out for a while, do a little vacationing, maybe do a little fishing, see if they have any fishing in Virginia. not too far away from Maryland. Going to see my mom. My kids are going to see Granny and Pop. And we're just going to have a good time. But you know what I want to do? I want to listen to you guys. I'm going to take my shortwave radio, and I'm going to listen. This is kind of cool. I'm doing a portable show right now. I'm just walking around. And hopefully things will be better. We won't get that interference that I had last week. I think, man. I think what was happening there was email was coming or text messages were coming, or I don't know. Sometimes you get that if you're a little too close to a speaker. So, I don't know. Have a great field day. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. I have a couple of questions that people have asked me that I need to address and talk about. We're also going to learn a little bit about DMR this week. Patrick, KC1, AJT, has an interview with Bridgecom. Now, DMR is like a different world to me. I have no idea what it is. And they're going to have a conversation. The Bridgecom people and Patrick are going to talk a little bit about it. I need to learn about it. I kind of know a little bit about it, but not much. And I've said it before, on the air and here. I love me some HF. And I love HF so much, it is very hard for your boy to take on a digital mistress. It's just very hard. I do a little D-Star every now and again. I understand DMR. I understand our brothers and sisters doing the digital modes. It's great for emergency communications, doing the QRP stuff. You know, when the S hits the stuff and the fan and all that business. I get it, man. I get it. But girl, I love HF. We'll come back and answer some questions here in just a little bit, and we'll have an interview with Bridgecom in just a bit.
From wireless to Wi-Fi, this is 100 watts and a wire.
The IC7610, the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for field day, the new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio, that's SDR, that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. Don't forget to bring along the perfect field day companion, the IC7300. Ideal for the ham on the go, it is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design. And the IC9100. The sky's no limit with this all-in-one HF, VHF, UHF rig. No matter if you're working DX, QSO, RTTY, D-Star, DV, satellite, or even moon bounce, ICOM's years of experience is working along with you. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all ICOM radios.
QRO to the people. This is 100 watts and a wire.
All right, it's Christian walking around portable. I like to have a portable studio in my hand. That's pretty cool. Got to answer a question here. I posted last week a photograph on social media. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter or the 100 Watts in a Wire Facebook group, you'll see this photo, and it is me looking like maybe I have eaten someone's liver. It's a very interesting, I find it to be like a piece of art. Other people have found it to be a little scary, frankly. I don't know why, because I look like I'm eating someone's liver. Be that as it may, that is not the case at all. The weather has been so hot here in Missouri that you have to do your yard work and your gardening really early. And I rise early anyway. I don't know what happens, but I haven't set an alarm clock in years and years. My body's just like, bloop, get up. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. One eye's like jamming shut, and the other one's like, I said. And so I rise and, you know, I get dressed, have my coffee, and I head outside because the heat index is in the triple digits. And I don't have time for that. It's too many degrees. And it seems early in the summer for that. But anyway, you get out there and you take care of your yard chores early and you're racing the sun, because once the sun comes up over the trees and hits that field, you're out of it. Trust me. Anyway, so I went out and I did some weed eating. And if you're looking at the photograph, hopefully by now you've pulled it up. You'll see grass particles and things stuck to my forehead, my face, and neck piece, and my shirt is covered with grass. And then, of course, you see me with what looks like a bloody hand and all over my face, something like out of a horror movie. But what I chose to do was share a photograph of myself, which was just intended to go to my daughters. Now, my littlest little face is 3. She's going to be 4 later this summer. But when she gets into the raspberry patch, that's what it looks like. All over. I mean, red all over. It's almost like she can't get them in her mouth fast enough, so it just crashes into her cheek. Anyway, that was a private photo I sent to her because she wasn't here with me. And that's the backstory of that. And many people thought, wow, he must have eaten a squirrel. Like, those squirrels will never come back to his coax ever again. He ate that some. Nope, not the case. Just an inside joke with raspberries in the raspberry bush early. And there you have it. Let's talk about the Sunday net. The Sunday night 100 watts in a wire HF net goes into its second week last week, and I welcomed back Steve, W7UDI. Do you know Steve's 100 watt ID? W7UDI's 100 watt ID was issued by myself on the first day. He's number 104. 104. And somebody else said, where are all the low number 100 watts and wire ID, like under 1,000? I see them. I see some in the 200s, and you hear somebody in the 400s, and you're like, wow, man, that's a low number. Steve goes way back with me, and we welcomed him back Sunday night from the Pacific Northwest, and he is a seasoned operator, and he's on the radio quite a bit. He can manage a pile up. He's good, and I am happy to have him back with me. And we worked, let's see, it was Ian, Whiskey 1 Juliet India Whiskey in Maine, myself in Missouri. It was N8UP, that's our police officer friend Joe in Ohio. Joe goes back a long way with me. Yeah. So we're kind of bringing back some old friends to run with me on Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central, 0000 UTC on 40 meters, one band only. We're making some adjustments to the Thursday net as well, and we're going to start running on 40 meters on Thursday as well, okay? So just one band. We're going to retool just a little bit. We're going to hold it the same way, but listen on 40 meters only for now. And maybe, we'll add another band. Maybe we'll change the band. But Sunday night, we had 52 check-ins, and it was Father's Day. And I was thinking to myself, this, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the bands were kind of dead. And I'm thinking, well, everybody's with their loved ones. Their children, their grandchildren, their dads. If you're lucky enough to have your dad, God bless you, man. I miss my dad every day. Every day. I look for a moment to think about him, and he pops in there every day. So Father's Day is a little bit tough, and I thought, well, maybe, I don't know, do people even care about this? Do they want to do a net? And then I think about Thanksgiving. And if I'm being honest with you, and your boy is going to be honest, I don't know another way. I know too many people, and I talk too much to try to keep lies separated. So I have the policy of truth. Well, after Thanksgiving and being around the family, I love my family. They're all good people. But Lord, I am ready to take a break. There comes a time where I need to take a break. Hey, what happened to your father? He's taking a break. Damn right. You're damn right. You shouldn't have been sucking on the wishbone like that, man. The mouth noises make me weirded out. So I started thinking, maybe somebody may need, just a little bit. Maybe they were jonesing to get on the air, and people were. 52 check-ins, which isn't a record. It's very good because the conditions were crap. So thank you for that. Listen now for Thursday night, 0000 UTC. That's 7 o'clock Central Time. And the same for Sunday. Little different lineup, 2 different bands, one purpose. We have a good team of operators who were out there. All right, I promised you an interview with Bridgecom. Bridgecom sells these DMR radios that I know nothing about, but Patrick, KC1AJT, he was chomping at the bit, man. Chomping at the bit in Xenia. Got to talk about them, man. You got to talk about them. This is kind of important stuff here, and he knows all about it. I'm like, all right. Damn, okay. So he sat down with Bridgecom. They had a conversation. We'll get to that next.
Little pistols and big guns. This is 100 watts and a wire.
Bio-NO Power lithium iron phosphate batteries offer some of the best performance batteries for any of your HF or other mobile ham radios. With over 2,000 charge cycles and a battery that is super light, only 1/3 that of AGM or lead-acid batteries, these batteries are a great solution. Visit bionopower.com or contact dealers nationwide, including Ham Radio Outlet, Ham Source, PowerWorks, Comms2Go, Impulse Electronics, Portable Zero, and many others. That's Bio-NO Power, BIOENNOPOWER.com.
This is 100 watts and a wire.
So this is Patrick Prescott with 100 watts and a wire. I'm here with Tim King of Bridgecom Systems. And Tim, this year, as not only is Bridgecom doing a lot of DMR, but you guys are really getting into the 220 megahertz range and the products that are connected with that. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we started making a 220 repeater here in late 2014, and have since, tried to help reestablish that band for the amateur radio community. We found that a lot of folks did not have access to a current 220 repeater, being I think the most recent manufacturer was probably around 15 to 25 years old, depending on who you talk to. And so there were a lot of converted old GE Master 2s and other items they were using to make 220 repeaters. So it was a niche we had access to, and we're happy to help provide that repeater for that community.
Great. And newer hams might not necessarily be aware that we do have a 220 band. And that's kind of a, I don't want to say a relic, but it's something that dates back many decades. And it's far enough from many public service or commercial frequencies that most manufacturers don't really bother making a radio for it. And I think some Kenwoods and other brands do have a tri-band radio for 220, but it doesn't have a full output there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's there's very few of the dual band or tri-band radios that have a 220 at a full 5 watts. A lot of your tri-band radios are a half watt to a watt and a half. There are a few exceptions, but I like, for example, like the old Kenwood, I think it's the PHF6 that had a full 5 watts or somewhere 4.5 watts watts maybe on 220. So yeah, when we made the BCH 220, it was a single band specific to fill that need of a full 5 watts on 220. So people get the range on 220 they're used to on their typical 2 meter radios or dual band 2 meter 440 radios.
Perfect. And now 220, I definitely see it coming back as a big possibility for the community. Certain areas of the country now, I know Massachusetts and California, to be 2 of them, have certain government or military installations that are utilizing the UHF bands for certain uses that we may or may not be aware of, that put restrictions on amateurs to put repeaters up there. So the 220 is largely underused, and it may be very easy to get a pair for a 220 repeater.
That's correct. Yeah, I was at a ham fest in Colorado a couple of years ago, and obviously with a lot of mountaintop repeaters, their coverage is much greater than some of us that are hilly or even kind of flat. They were completely out of 2 meter and 440 pairs, and that was in 2016. So, I mean, to have only access to 220 or in areas like you're talking about where there is other there's parts of the 440 in particular spectrum that's used that interferes with the amateur radio spectrum, it's great to have the option 220 to put up a repeater or to do Aries Races communications events, things like that involve the amateur radio community. Okay.
And does it have a similar, propagation as a 2 meter repeater, or is it a very big difference as far as your range or pattern there?
Yeah, great question. It is. It's kind of a hybrid. So because it falls in between 2 meter and 440, it has very low noise floor and similar propagation to 2 meter VHF spectrum. But then actually 220 technically falls within the VHF spectrum. But it also has a little better in-building penetration, more like your UHF 440 spectrum. So it is kind of a nice hybrid, if you will, between the two, with that longer range but better penetration when you're inside the house or inside the car.
Perfect. Yeah, it definitely seems that there's a huge possibility there. Now at Dayton, you guys were demoing a D-Star repeater on 220. Can you tell me how that works?
Yeah. So all of our BCR repeaters, we have 3 models: the 2 meter, the BCR 50B, the 440, which is the BCR 40U, and the BCR 220, which is 220 megahertz, 1.2 meter. All 3 of those are what we call digital ready. So with the advent of the Raspberry Pi and the different MMDBM manufacturers, you can connect that to the accessory port on the back of our repeater, similar to an external controller. And it will allow that audio to then be passed on in one of 4 digital modes, either DMR, D-Star, P25, or C4FM, the Fusion version. So you can effectively make our repeater work on analog or any one of those 4 modes. What we had running there at Convention was a 220 D-Star repeater using in the DDM, so that way those folks could have that Kenwood D74 radio, they can come up and use 220 D-Star, or just show off that there's another additional mode that's available on the 220 spectrum.
Great. And you said currently the Kenwood radio has the 220 D-Star capability, right?
That's right. I don't know for sure if there's an Icom radio that has 220 D-Star, but I do know for sure that the Kenwood does. It's what we use here in the shop to test when we send out a repeater for 220 D-Star, or any D-Star for that matter, because it does do, like, it's a tri-band radio.
Okay. Now, are you seeing a large uptick in the 220 sales right now?
Yeah, they have, like we were talking about earlier, where different places where either they're out of spectrum on 2 meter and 440, or where there's spectrum interference. In particular, the East Coast and West Coast. We see a lot of it, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because of it's just such a congested spectrum space, has quite a bit of 220. But yeah, we sell an awful lot of 220 gear up into like Washington, Oregon area. They've kind of got a passion for it, as well as California has a couple of different 220 networks running up and down the coast there. So it just, it's really dependent. It seems to be dependent where people, to back up a second, without access to a 220 repeater for a number of years, it was only out of necessity that I think a lot of folks, took a GE Master 2 or found an old Maggie Ori or something like that to put up a 220 repeater. Because they didn't have a repeater in the area, or could put up a new one on 2 meter or 440. Whereas now, I think a lot of clubs and groups, it's not a necessity anymore with the access of the DCR 220 repeater plus. It gives people more of that easy button, that easy way to put up a repeater versus someone having to understand how to modify, become somewhat of an electrical RF engineer, or to put up a 220 repeater. So, I think it's easier for folks now, so therefore you're finding it more and more places too.
Okay. And you guys are kind of a one-stop shop. You've got the handhelds, you've got the repeaters, and you even have the duplexers, right?
Yeah. If somebody wants to put up a system, with the exception of a tower, we can pretty much give them antenna, E-line, duplexer, pair of antenna and E-line, if you want to go that route. So the duplexer, the repeater. We had people that have bought a controller and sent it to us, and paid us a little bit of labor to set it up for them here in the shop. So yeah, we can do all those things and kind of get them as close to an easy button as possible to putting a new repeater in place.
Awesome. So, Tim, if people want to find out more, where should they go?
Sure. Well, obviously, you can call us. Phone number is 816-532-8451. Website is bridgecomsystems.com. That's bridgecomsystems.com. And, or you can email, probably the easiest one is contact us at bridgecomsystems.com. Any one of those things, or even message us through Facebook or Twitter or whatever, too. We'll keep an eye on all those things. So, if you can find a way to get a hold of us, we'll probably see it and respond. Usually, well, it's not a weekend, usually within, a few hours, or at least 24 hours at most. So, pretty accessible.
Awesome. So thanks for being with us here today, Tim. And this is Patrick Prescott, KC1AJT, signing off.
This is Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel, returning.
I can't say it enough. I like this walking around, being able to walk around and do stuff. I'm walking around the studio and in the shack right now. I'm putting around my house, not sitting down. I love to walk, man. So this is kind of cool. People will look at me funny when I'm out there in the streets and in the parks talking to myself. But you know what? There was a time where you thought people who were talking to themselves were crazy. Now they got the Bluetooth in their ear. They're talking. There's a guy I work with. He's always talking. I don't know what he's talking about. Today he's like, there's a new Predator movie coming out. And I'm like, yeah, man. That ought to be cool, wouldn't it? And he's like, all right, see you later, baby. And I'm like, what the hell? Bluetooth in his ear. He wasn't even talking to me. So, I don't know. I don't plan on talking to him anymore because he may have called me baby, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. I don't want to believe that. What am I talking about? Oh, yes, recording this way, portable, is kind of cool. I dig it. Thanks to Patrick, KC1AJT, and the gang at Bridgecom for taking a moment. I need to do some work with those guys. I need to learn a little bit more about it and get my feet wet with DMR. It seems like an interesting technology. And maybe this summer we can dig around and do something. All right, man, every week it seems like something crazier is happening in the news. We've got natural disasters. We've got lava pouring down the hillsides in Hawaii. Political strife all around us. If we can, it would be great to try and focus on the things that we all believe in. We know we all bleed, we all get sick, we all bury our parents. We all love this great hobby and service. Can't we just find a little more common ground? A little more? Hopefully you can find some here and in the 100 Watts in a Wire community. That's what I hope for us. That's a place where you can come and we can try. We try not to get involved in things that divide us. And that's important. That is indeed important. Look, the next week, can you believe this? We're coming up on the 4th of July. 4th of July. It may take a week. It may take a week to myself and just chill. So I want you to have a great holiday. Look for me on the social media sites. I'll let you know. We'll see how things unravel and unfold here as we get deeper into that big, great, patriotic day. I love the 4th of July. I love to see the flags. I love the parades, the fireworks, the meaning behind everything. I really do love the 4th of July. I don't like mosquitoes at all. At all. But I like the lightning bugs. The lightning bugs come out and there's just, we become galvanized for a little bit of time, just a little bit of time before we go back to punching each other in the face. We got to stop that. All right, that's enough. It's Christian Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel reminding you to take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsindawire.com.